Hey everybody, we're here with this S58. This is the one that came out of the G83 M4 that unfortunately floated through a lake. Lake Cactus. So presumably it's done. It's a goner. This is hydro-locked. There was water absolutely everywhere. Charge pipes, front diff, catalytic converters, transmission oil lines, everything was flooded. So we're going to do a full teardown. For those of you watching at home, we're most likely going to get a used engine. This might not be rebuildable, but we are going to document the teardown process so that you guys can see what the exact damage was, what a bent connecting rod looks like, and essentially what water looks like in every single oil galley inside this block. So Nassim and I are going to tear this down, and we'll go over step by step as we go along what we find. So have fun watching. Yeah.
Oh,
You're kidding me, right?
she's pissing.
I'm glad I spent $10 on that on
Pissing.
that patent. All right, so we got the turbos off, we have our valve cover off, so now the next step, because this engine is seized, we can't pull the converter off. We're going to have to take the connecting rod caps off to be able to spin the crank, take the converter off, spin it back up top, take the head off, and then hopefully be able to knock some of these pistons and rods out and see how bad this damage is. So it's going to get a little messy. Don't mind us. Oh boy.
nasty.
Kind of figured that was going to happen, though.
Fucking nasty. You another one?
Need a couple.
We'll grab 'em.
Yeah. No warning, huh?
Ew.
All right. How bad does it look?
Just water. Ew, looks like...
Yep. Smell it.
No,
Ah.
no.
Oh my God! Look, it looks like dog poo. So because this is locked, we got to remove the girdle to get to our connecting rods. Use hand tools. Don't break these loose with a gun. You will have a problem if you strip this.
Would you rather work on this or M54?
That's a serious question?
No.
Hey, check it out. See this cover right here?
Yeah.
SHW.
Oh, nice.
Remember I told you SHW for brakes on Porsche and Volkswagen?
Yeah.
Even BMW too? Oh, we.
That's crazy.
I didn't know they made stuff like that. See, I don't know everything.
Oh, okay, because that's what he's doing, you know? Oh, no,
Yep. Okay. Oil pump is out. Nice. Look at that.
diarrhea.
More chocolate milk. All right. Let's take that girdle off. Release these cam caps. Connecting rod caps.
E10s?
Yeah, I think I broke most of them loose, right?
I think.
Yeah, I did. Fuck you. Donde está? Right here. Right here. Nice. All right. So now we got our girdle off. Now we need to release the caps on our connecting rods, and then we can hopefully spin this crankshaft. That we will need a special. Yeah, we shouldn't.
No.
We'll be able to spin it with the torque converter. should probably, yeah, hopefully these cams spin too. We'll find out. I'm saying it's a bent rod.
Think so?
Yeah, pretty sure it's just a bent rod. Same deal, guys. You don't want to use power tools on this stuff. Even though the engine is technically toast, just bad habits. Get too comfortable, strip something that you never wanted to strip. You're going to hate yourself.
I say we loosen up everything.
Not a bad idea.
My eye scratch no shoe.
Oh! Do me a favor, can you spin that up for me real quick? Hold on. Go up. Good.
Tag team, baby.
Go up. Yep.
Here's the 14s. I say hit these with a hammer though. There's a rubber mallet. Let me rephrase my statement.
Think it'll spin now? I think I have the 14 here. That's a 14. See something here? She's locked, huh? Fuck. Damn. Thanks for telling me you lowered the chair. One of those oh shit moments. Could release the chain too. From
Tensioner?
the cams and the tensioner, yeah.
We'll do it after.
I'm gonna crack the mains loose real quick.
My money's on the mains. First thing, I got no money.
You do it to all your Audis.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'll say loosen them up more.
We got nothing here. Let me see.
Yeah, is this a loosen?
Yeah, let's give this a shot.
I got some movement.
A little bit, move a little bit.
Very little.
All right, let's take these caps off the connecting rods. Completely.
we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, use the gun. You got the gun. What size is it?
12.
12? Okay.
Jesus, 12.
You have it in suspension?
Yeah. And don't they start rag, please? Get this doggy
shit.
doggy do here. Grab this real quick. Let's pull these caps out, and then we should hopefully be able to spin this crankshaft. Oh man.
You want to put these on the floor?
I'll put them on the table for now.
Oh, it smells like shit. Oh, man. Oh. Damn.
It smells good. It smells like IHOP. Hmm?
Smells like my G83.
Whoa. Wow. Yep. That's our problem. Found it. That is number uno. Oh yeah. Number one. You know what's crazy? So, remember Dimebag Darrell's G80 when we did the teardown? That was number one. I saw a video. KLM's doing the engine rebuild. The guy posted the video of the damage. Number one. Rod went through the side of the block the same way Darrell's did. Number one is number one bullshit guy here. Wow. Number one is the... Oh, wait a second. Hold on, guys. We should have bet. We should have put money on it. You do. It's in your Audi. If you... You mad, bro? If you think about it, right? You probably, like, after your time and everything, you're like fucking 50, 60 grand deep in that S4 you had.
No.
Your time, effort?
Oh, time?
Yeah, bro. Oh, shit! Numero uno is bent. Take a look. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I don't like the way that bent, though. It's going to hit the fucking... You know what we gotta have to do? We're gonna have to get the tool on the front of the crank.
Can we take the head off? So we can make this lighter?
Yeah, sure.
Let's
Okay,
move this
buddy.
back.
Yeah, hold on one second. This is gonna make...
We can get to all the head bolts, you know that, right?
Yeah, no, we're good on the head. I just figured, you know, we'd get lucky.
Special tool for the cam gears?
Yeah.
Where's it? Take it out?
It's on my desk somewhere. We use it on the B58.
B50 gear?
All right, ready? Pull it out. Come on, Daddy. Pull it out, Daddy. What are you doing? There you go.
You don't want to go.
All right there, Daddy. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, check by, it's definitely on the left bench by the amplifier somewhere.
What size is the attachment?
22, I think. Still recording. All right, so we're going to take the cylinder head off because this thing is pretty heavy. So we're going to take the head off just to make life a little bit easier. Flip this upside down and then, hopefully be able to pull these rods out. Number one is tried to go to the moon, and that didn't work. Did you ever grab a magnet? Yes, you did. No, you didn't. Yes, you did. Head bolts in the garbage. Can't reuse these puppies. Jesus. Good. She's coming. Cool. Hour 6. Off. We're gonna put this thing.
Maybe?
Yeah. For now. All right.
How's it look?
Damn, man. The one don't look too hot. I mean, head looks okay. Okay. The head looks rebuildable. Oh boy.
Sleeve.
Hmm? Yeah, this thing is fucked. Oh. Nice. Bro.
You ever cut yourself on head gas, man?
No, have you?
Yeah.
Just now? No. Let me do this real quick. Have to start this one again. All right, check it out, guys. We pulled the head off, and this is what we're looking at. So obviously we need to take measurements and everything once we fully strip this block down, but see all that rust? That's no good. So look at that. Let me zoom in for you guys. See if I can zoom in. Ew.
Nasty.
Look at that. So what we know so far, right, from what we can see, is that it looks like cylinder 1 bent the rod. So what we're going to do now is we are going to turn this bad boy back upside down, and we are going to attempt to get this torque converter off, because that's really a huge problem right now. Here we go. Let me see if I can get this to a point that I can at least show you. Here we go. There's the head, by the way. The head's over there. And we're going to obviously disassemble the head too, see what we're dealing with. Probably have some vent valves somewhere, but nothing that can't be fixed as far as what I'm looking at. So that's good. But now we're able to get the block fully upside down. And you won't be able to see in this shot, but number one, which is over here. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Hold on. Hold on. I don't have a rig here, so I'm doing this. I'm pulling focus manually. I don't know if you can see the rod down there. She's bent. And that is why we cannot spin this crank right now. So we're going to figure that out, get the converter off, and then simply just pull the crank out, drop the rods and pistons, and then call it a day, because that's really all we can do for now. Where's one? I've got some gloves. Hold on. Spins?
I didn't try yet.
Oh.
The bent rod is out.
Yeah, it's not going to. Number one, bent rod. Like I knew. Wow. Look at that. So what happens, guys, is your water enters your combustion chamber, and as this piston is traveling back up the top dead center, it tries to compress that water, and like we told you, water is not compressible. So this actually shows you the sheer strength that water has. It was able to stop this piston dead in its travel, and when it has nowhere to go, you're going to bend your rod. Wow.
Try spinning now. I don't think it's going to spin.
We should save this.
Yeah.
Send it back to the customer. Oh, man. Well, what do we have? We have one more left?
No.
Right here.
You got to spin it. This one you could take out. This one you could try and take out, but this one was hitting the block.
Oh, I
So
see that. Yeah, that's going to have to get spun. But this one's not bent, presumably, so it's still seized.
I think it may
I mean, we should, yeah, it's possible. Definitely possible. We should be using the special tool, but we shouldn't have to. She's locked still, man. She's locked. So what we'll do, yeah, let's knock as many, these last two have to get knocked out.
Yeah, I just want on the inside.
That rust ring is serious, huh? Jesus. This one may have, I think, number 6 spun a bearing. That's a possibility, huh? Wow. There it is.
Oh, that one bent too?
Not that I can tell. No. Yeah. 2 bent rods. Wow, that's straight as an arrow. Not. Wow. 1 in 6 bent. If you look at the firing order, you'll be able to tell actually which ones would bend. All right, let's see here. We got.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. We got the bent rods. All right, now we can spin our crank. Cool. Let me get this shell out of here. Cool. All right, what's stopping us here? Number 3?
This one.
Oh, hold on.
Bro.
Mm-hmm. That rust. It's that rust, baby. All right, so, well. You guys, don't do this at home on a good engine. We're doing this because this engine is toast. Right place to do the wrong thing.
Let me get a different fucking.
Oh, look at this. Spun bearing here too.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Oh, damn, we trashed this one.
Snap on warranty it. Come on. Come on. That guy comes over and touches you every week for like $1,000. Today's not Thursday. You get your days mixed up, friend. Whatever works. Whatever you got. Mm-hmm.
What are we, 17?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Definitely 17. One more. One more. All done. All done.
You want these? Did your boy find the link he was looking for?
I don't know. Doesn't text me. Cool. Well, it took us about an hour. I wasn't bad.
Promise?
Now we got to call Audi.
Yeah, what the fuck is
Ordered a tensioner from the dealer. We got a jack pad. Like I can remember that right now. Cool. Now we can take the flywheel off. Flywheel's also a 17, right? You lied. 19. Or an 18. No, I'm good. I'm good. I didn't think about that, huh? No, I'm good. I'm good. That's what it's supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. Elise yelled at me last night, why don't we charge the batteries? I said, you got 2 hands, right? Missed. Nice. Nice. Yep.
You think we remember to charge them?
Nope.
No amount of shit we gotta fucking do?
Whoa.
Here.
It spins good now.
I think the other half-inch battery is not charging.
We should have 3 in total. Right, so now we can pull the crank out. Let's pull these mains off. Pull the crankshaft out. These are fucking garbage. I'm not saving these. 14, I think. Whew. Wait, timing cover in the back side to come off. Then we're good. I'll do that while you do that. I forgot about the timing cover because the torque converter was in the way.
Yeah, I know.
Have you seen the E8? Money. These are aluminum. I think these are aluminum. Two more.
Yeah.
Steel, right?
Yeah. Got one right there.
Last one. Gotta take this out too, I think. Yeah, right here. What is that, T30?
What, this crank sensor?
Yeah. Will it come out with the cover?
It's bolted to it, yeah.
Cool. All right. Right here too will be pretty cool. Got it? Yeah, right there.
Okay. No problem.
There it is. There it is. Timing cover off. Oh, there's shit everywhere. Guide rail. Keep that in the block. Yeah, whatever. It's got to come out. It's got to have to come out with the crank, whatever. All right. This is garbage. I'm not reusing this. Can't.
Oh.
What happened? Whoa! Yeah, yeah. You may be right. You may have spun a main too. Yeah, that's weird.
That's very fucking weird.
Keep these cap bolts.
Look at the caps.
Yeah. BMW style, they put numbers. They make sense too. Like 1 for position 1. Here, put the caps here for now. Let's pull off the harmonic balancer too before we pull the crank out. That's going to be a bitch to do out of the 12. just hold that crank for me real quick. Hopefully I got 2 more left in this. Sure did. Harmonic balancer is out. Now we can take the crank up. Tough guy, you don't need help, huh? Excuse me. Whew. All right, so now we're gonna get this on the table, clean up this shit show we have here, and we'll go over in better detail and greater depths what exactly happened. So we'll catch you in a second. All right, so Nassim and I completely tore down the S58. As you can see here, we have our bare block. We have the rods and pistons. We have our mains, our caps for our connecting rods, cylinder head, head gasket, crankshaft, and a couple chains out. As you saw in the video, I may have sped up some of those shots. We had to get the torque converter off somehow, but because the engine was locked, the only way to get that converter off was removing the oil pan, oil pump, the girdle, releasing the bolts on the connecting rod caps, and we even had to loosen the main caps just a little bit to be able to get that crankshaft to spin so that we can clear access to the flex plates bolts to be able to pull that torque converter off the back of the block or the front of the block, depending on how you look at it, the chains in the back. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take you individually through the block, the connecting rods, and the cylinder head, crankshaft. Real quick, we'll go over those 3 components, and I will show you the failure, at least on all 3 of those different pieces of hardware in relation to what exactly happened. So let's take a look. So we're going to start with the head gasket real quick. The interesting part during this teardown, the coolant system was intact. Did not find any oil inside the coolant system. So you can see some surface rust here on this gasket. However, by definition, the head gasket did not fail. I'm going to repeat myself. By definition, the head gasket did not fail. In a situation like this, because that rod bent before any further damage was able to happen, we didn't pop the head gasket or blow the head gasket, whatever terminology you want to use. So head gasket is technically still good. Let's put this off to the side. Let's move on to our cylinder head. So come in as close as you can without losing focus here, because we don't have a cool lens just yet. We can't tell just yet. We will tear this puppy down. Can't tell if we have any bent valves. We most likely do. I see a little bit of contact that might have been made over here on the front of the head, which is cylinder number 1, which ironically is the one with the bent rod. So if I pick this up real quick for you, we might have some washers that'll fall out. The cams look good, valve springs look good, the rockers look good, but again, you got to remember we had water in here that diluted the oil, and this thing sat for a while. So we're going to do a full teardown on the head, but the good news on the cylinder head, by definition, the cylinder head is completely rebuildable. As far as we know so far, we don't see anything wrong that says we need to toss this head in the trash. So now let's move on to the meat and potatoes of this shit show, our connecting rods. So let me flip in over here real quick. As I explained to you, water is not compressible. So we're going to go here in my left hand. Your right is going to be normal connecting rod. You can see all the rust. This is rust from water because, well, water doesn't belong in your combustion chamber and your cylinder. And here we have our bent connecting rod. So this is on cylinder 1. So what's happening is, as that cylinder is coming to the top that center on our compression stroke, you have water that came in through our intake valves via the intake system, via the lake, that the vehicle went through. Now, you cannot compress water. Water is not compressible. It's very strong, all right? You can transfer a lot of energy with water. That piston on its way up meets the water, can't compress water. What's going to happen? The weakest point is going to be in that rod. That rod's going to bend. So before we get on to our connecting rod caps, let's move on to the actual damage to the block that has now rendered this a piece of paperweight, so to speak. So if we come down in here on number 1, again, where we know we had a bent rod, and we take a look right here, not necessarily the easiest to see with this shot, but if we look here right at the very bottom of the liner over here, you will see the rod made contact with the block. So unfortunately, in this situation, this block is trash. It cannot be reused for a stock build at least, and there's a lot of variables here due to the damage from the bent connecting rod that we are not going to attempt to rebuild the engine for this G83 using this block. We're going to have to explore other options. Let me flip this upside down, upside right, to show you. Went the wrong way there for a second. I've been meaning to get that guide rail off. All right, so now let's take a peek. If you come in a little bit closer, come into my right side. All right, take a look here. And we look into the liners. This is all rust. I'm going to try to get some out in my glove so you could see. That's all rust. So all 6 cylinders took in water. Number 1, which is over here, cylinder number 1, that was the one that met that water on the compression stroke on the way up. And then what happens is, like I said, that rod is the weakest point. It's going to bend. We don't have any damage on our liners, which is good. We haven't done any measurements, but again, we're not going to get that far necessarily. We will, but not for purposes of actually rebuilding it. We'll measure everything. But because we have damage down here and a little bit of damage at the bottom of that liner on 2 other cylinders, which is interesting because as we were tearing this down, I noticed number 1 was visibly, before we even pulled it out, it was visibly bent. I believe number 5 and 6 were also slightly bent. We'll get to that in just a second. So this block, no good, as you can see. All rust, contaminated. Now, if we look at the actual deck on the block, right, back to our head gasket, didn't have a blown head gasket. You would see some corrosion. Sorry, we had a little bit of a camera snafu. So as I was saying, water jackets, we don't have any surface rust. There's no buildup of debris over there. So back to that head gasket technically not being blown. So that's the block side. Let's move on real quick to our connecting rods, right? So again, normal rod, bad rod. In the wise words of Nassim, this is a Monday, and this is after the week fucks us, and this is on a Saturday. That's what you look like. So to give you guys a real quick visual of what happened down in here, let me show you. So your rod, I'm going to go super elementary version for you guys that don't know what's going on with the internals of these engines. All right, this rod is going to rotate on your crankshaft, all right? It's a reciprocating motion. So as that rod comes down, all right, naturally, you know what? Let me use a straight rod. That rod is not straight. Okay, so that rod is going to come down like this, and it's going to come up like this. So now, we have a bent connecting rod. Presumably, on our compression stroke, when this hit the water at the top of the piston, we bent the rod, and as that rod was rotating this way, upward, this is where it made contact, and if you look carefully, you can see where that connecting rod made contact with the bottom of the liner, right there, and that's what damaged the block. Obviously, our rings are fried. These pistons are essentially trash. It's a pretty cool paperweight, or a trophy, so to speak, to remind you of a very expensive error in judgment, but garbage. Aside from that, we have our caps over here. The bearings on number 1, 5, and 6, which have the bent rods, were completely toast. We have our main caps over here. Our main cap bolts, I just dropped 2 of them. Surprisingly, the mains, one of them looks like they sustained some pretty heavy damage. But the mains on the block side and the cap side actually look fairly okay, all things considered. But again, that's why that connecting rod bent, and that's what took the brunt of the water ingress. We have our chains over here, and the last thing I want to go over real quick is going to be the crankshaft. So, if we take a look at our crank, you'll be able to see, hopefully in this video, we'll see how good of an editing job I can do. You'll see some discoloration, okay? You will see some wear on the crank here that's not coming off my glove. If I got some rubber and alcohol, I could probably get most of this off. However, these little blotches you see, all right, on the actual journals, that is from this block sitting, or this engine sitting, the car sitting, after the hydrolock situation. That water diluted in the oil, which is not good, even though the car is off, and that is actually, we can call this a contamination mark from the water that mixed with our oil in the crankcase. And as this car sat over time, water by nature is going to dilute in the oil, and when the oil gets diluted, it loses its ability to lubricate properly. So that's why we have these marks on the crankshaft. If we go to number 1, number 1 actually is back here. because this is number 6. So this is number 1. You'll see a little bit of a different color on number 1 because that one got super hot. And you're going to have that discoloration when this crankshaft gets hotter than it's supposed to. So this crank is no good. I really don't care who you are, how long you've been doing this, how much experience you have, where you went to school, what you eat for breakfast. I don't really care. That crankshaft is no good. Anyone that tells you they can repair that crankshaft, that's the wrong way to do it. If you have money to spend on a $100,000, $120,000, $140,000 car, why would you take a crankshaft like that from an expert who says that can be repaired? I understand there's certain situations, supply and demand. I understand in this case, just go get a used crank for $2,500 or order a new crank. In relation to the cost of the car and the cost of the subsequent build that you're going to do, even if it's a stock build or performance build, just spend the money. Don't mess with that crankshaft. So this, all here that we have some parts that are boxed up. The car is in the parking lot. We pushed it back out. We have everything wrapped up, bagged and tagged. All the bolts have been labeled where they belong. Obviously, a bunch of these bolts are going to get replaced. O-rings and gaskets are going to get replaced. Now we're going to go on to the next task of determining what we're going to do with this moving forward as far as sourcing a used engine or trying to find a bare block and then maybe do a basic bottom end build. We don't know what we're going to do just yet, but we do know we can't use any of these components aside from possibly a cylinder head. But as most of you know, and if you don't know, there are some situations where if we do source a used engine or a good bare block, it may come with a good cylinder head, and it may not be worth our time. And then, in return, the customer's time. It's not worth anyone's time to really mess with this cylinder head. So this is what happens when you enter water and your intake system sucks up that water. You're going to hydrolock your engine. And I want to end this with a response to one of the comments that was somewhat smart on a video I posted to YouTube in relation to just because you pull the drain plug and there's oil in your crankcase, or water in the oil in your crankcase, you can't necessarily just assume it's hydrolocked, and you need to, my statement was, now it's time to pull the engine and do a teardown. This person's argument was you can simply just drain it, clean it, fill it with oil, start it back up, and in most cases you'll be okay. Yeah, that guy doesn't really know what he's talking about. He probably sits at home racing cars on Gran Turismo, whatever these kids play these days on Xbox or PlayStation, because that is not true. On any modern engine, whether it's an American car, Japanese, or European, let alone an S58, and this is actually an engineering masterpiece, even though it's modular, so they don't make them like they used to. The second you get water in your oil, you can't simply drain it, clean it, fill it with oil, and send it on its way. Over here, hold on one second, let me show you the turbos. These are stock S58 turbochargers, which are now toast. Why are they toast? Why are they screwed? We have oil and we have water. There's a water line at the top, at the back of this turbo, which means this turbocharger is oil and water cooled. So now if we have water in the oil system, we have not introduced water into our CHRA, okay, our center section of the turbo. Water is not, if water was a lubricant, we would use it. See where I'm going with this? So now, to anyone out there with a less than stellar level of common sense, suggest to simply just drain your crankcase and fill it with oil and send it and you should be good. They don't know what they're talking about. So in this situation, the second you have that amount of water in your crankcase, in your catalytic converters, in the front diff, we had water in the transmission, for God's sake, you have to do a teardown. The engine has to come out. And if any mechanic or any shop says we're going to drain it, clean it, and fill it with oil, you should probably go over there and pull your car out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And for those of you out there who didn't know what a hydrolock situation was, now you do. And I hope we did a good job at somewhat documenting a teardown here. As much as we'd love to go into more detail, it takes time, of which we really don't have. We got to get back to work. So any questions, please drop them down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.